Oh,
good call.
God.
The show is about fighting, so let's get into it hot.
Yeah.
Would you please welcome from a place called Winnipeg? I've been hanging around gas stations. I've been learning about tires. I've been talking to grease monkeys. I've been working on cars.
Oh, no.
Amazing.
Yeah. What a tune.
So excited that we're back for Winnipeggers 8. They allowed us to stay on the air on the SCTV in Mellonville. We just got picked up. Thank you so much for your patronage. Great Guy Caballero believes in us and put us on the air, so we thank him for that.
Thank you, Guy.
I know you feel the same, Rybo.
Oh,
For sure, man.
Rybo,
Thanks, Guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cheers,
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 boys.
everybody.
guys. Sorry, I was just making a banner because I forgot. Oh, what do you got there? What does it say? I don't even hear what it says.
Oh, I don't know. It's just a generic, nothing important.
I thought maybe you got a Winnipeggers monogrammed glass to drink out of.
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh man.
Okay.
See,
Well,
we're
I'm
holding
expecting
out
a lot of. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say we're holding out for some Salisbury House sponsor. That's what we need. Salisbury House. Get your nips, as they will. Burton actually owns, or he did own, part of Salisbury House, right?
Right.
That's great.
But my question is this: let's just explain this as Winnipeggers. So, we have special guest Jeff. You have to move over into the shot a little bit more. So there is a restaurant in Winnipeg. It's called Salisbury House. He moved his chair over and still completely out of the shot.
I know, it's great. He gives you his shoulder.
There you go.
Hey, there he is.
Get some powder on that forehead for both of us. So there's a place. Jeez. Okay, there you go. There's a place called Salisbury House. It's kind of like a Winnipeg version of Denny's or something like that. And we've ate there our whole lives. And this is not a joke or any kind of derogatory statement. The big selling point is a nip.
A nip
is a form of a cheeseburger, correct?
It's a burger. I think I actually just read about it today. I looked into it because I was like, why is it called a nip? Because it's like supposed to be a small, you're just taking a little bite out of a Salisbury steak. It's a small version of a Salisbury steak. That's what it is. But Burton Cummings actually bought shares in Salisbury House, and there was banners around Winnipeg for a while that says, Burton Cummings puts the nip in Winnipeg. That's awesome.
At first, I was going to say that's not real, is it? But it actually kind of makes sense, right? Yeah. Winnipeggers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, but this is a real. If you go to Sal's today, the nips are still on the menu, right?
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Is there still Sal's? There still is, right?
There still is, and it's one of those places that was open 24 hours too. So it was always like a place that we would go at like 4 a.m. Nothing else was open, and we've been drinking all night. And it's like, hey, I guess let's go to Sal's because it's the only place open, and we go there. And they'd have a
Marshall. Yes. I love them. I don't even know
he probably still works there.
But that's the thing. But it's a Winnipeg tradition that no one else in the world knows about. And this is not like a place that branched out to Saskatoon or to Estevan or Brandon or Winnipeg or Calgary or anywhere. It's not like Timmy Norton's that is across basically the world. I was in Abu Dhabi like 5 years ago, and there's a Tim Hortons there. Not joking, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
What the fuck does
Got it.
Abu Dhabi know about Timmy Hortons?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Why can't Salisbury House go there? Why can't Salisbury House go?
and Burton should know. Burton Cummings, who sings the song "Running Back to Saskatoon," which is our theme song by the Guess Who, is now one of the
to episode 8. We still have that. We still have that playing.
It's kind of
Today,
like he
sorry.
wrote it
Yeah.
for us. It's almost
Yeah.
like he wrote it.
We don't
for
know
us.
how long we're gonna have it for.
Oh, he might track us down and
Yes.
shut us off.
Well, it's a
listen,
good problem to have.
If we get to the point where Burton Cummings is watching our show, then we can just retire at that point.
We're
I
done.
think.
That's all I'm
I'd
looking
have
for.
to.
You know, and Jeff, and here's the thing. Hold on. I'm going to ask some questions. Dave, have you ever met Burton Cummings personally?
I have
Yes or no?
actually. Yes, I have. Yes,
What
yes.
then?
What?
Well, I used to work out at the downtown Y in Winnipeg in about 1992 or 3, and he was there at night with his girlfriend. They would come and work out, and I just happened to say hi to him. He said hi to me. That's it. I said hi. He goes hi, and that was it. I didn't want to do anything else in that. I was very frigid back then when I would meet a star. You know, not like today. I'd be all over him. I'd be like my tongue down his throat, but yeah, not really. And then another time at a casino at the slot machines in Winnipeg too. So around the same time area. Also, he was also really pushing that band Tooth and Nail, that local Winnipeg band, Rybo. Remember them?
No,
And he would go out. Maybe he was managing them or helping them or something for a bit there. And I would go to see their shows. They're a pretty cool band, and you would see him there a lot too. And yeah, right at the A. That's exactly it, Jeff. Yeah,
they do a lot of Guess Who tunes, and he used to come up and sing along with them a bunch. And actually, speaking of doppelgangers, we used to always say that Chris looked like that same lead singer.
Oh
Like
yeah,
kind of had that curly blonde hair. You kind of look like him. I wish you could pull up a picture of him, but it's probably not there. But
yeah.
That's a great call. They also did a lot of Dawkins covers, from what I remember. Tooth and Nail.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
one. Wah, wah.
Okay, so Dave
I
met
thought he-
Burton Cummings. Rybo, have you ever met Burton Cummings?
No, but I've heard lots of stories about him, and I know that he, you're talking about him playing the slot machines and stuff. I know that after that Lenny Kravitz cover came out, he was spending more time at the casinos because he had a lot more cash.
A little more scratch. A little more scratch for the Burt. Yeah.
Red Cup.
I don't know if
Jeff
he.
said- What?
Sorry, what would he like us? Jeff, you must know him. You know everybody.
Well, I'm getting to a point here. Red Cup Jeff,
Oh.
him. Have you ever met Burton Cummings?
3 times.
And what was your opinion of Burton Cummings when you met him?
Well, in Winnipeg, first time it was delivering pizza, and he was ordering like a sardine, something like it was disgusting, black olive pizza or something. He was staying.
Was that what you-
What is the Larry David? Jeff, he ordered the Larry David.
Were you working for Sabino's?
Probably, yeah.
You didn't know who you were pizza for?
Well, it's a long time ago.
He
Okay,
worked
great.
at Primo Pizza. He's been in every pizza place.
When I was working at Sabino's, we did a lot of mushrooms. So while we were working,
And you put them on the pizza, which people did not know. So
that's another.
the statute of limitations is run out.
And then, yes, I met him at the A couple times, and he'd always sit there by himself, watch until he went up on stage. Like he was approachable, but he was like no entourage, no nothing. Just he's in Winnipeg. And then I had the fortune of meeting him with one of my heroes, Kenny Shields,
From Streetheart.
Correct. Kenny and I picked up Kenny. There was a curling convention.
Okay,
in
we got
Las
to keep the Burton Cummings stories going here.
Yeah, it was quick. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
good.
It is.
Good.
So it was a Burton Cummings. There's a curling convention in Vegas. So they booked There's all Canadians there. So they booked a Canadian band.
Curling. We got so many topics going all over the place
right.
here. We might
Yeah.
the fights.
So
I hope your internet looks better than it does to Rybo and I. Just saying. Go ahead, Jeff.
I told you already. Shut up. And you're 2. We got 10,000 people watching. You need to learn how to be on live TV, Dave.
Yeah.
My name's great. Hello, my baby. How are you? Great. Get some lights on your face. Continue, Jeff.
Keep the fights going.
the 70s.
That's 6 weeks old.
Burton Cummings, and it didn't go over very well. And then he was telling me a story in the car. We go to the show, Burton Cummings in Las Vegas. Kenny Shields is there, and a girl goes to me, the manager, showroom manager, goes, "Hey, do you want to meet?" I go, "Meet Burton? Definitely." She goes, I go, "But don't say anything. Just say we're going to go over and say goodbye to you and thank you for the." And she's like, "Okay, don't say anything about going backstage," because Kenny didn't know how he's going to react. So we start going back and further back, and Kenny goes, "Where are we going?" I said, "Just come, just follow me." And next thing you know, Burton stops everything, and he goes, "Kenny, is that you?" And then stopped everything, pulled him aside, and that was it. And then next thing you know, we're hanging out in Burton Cummings' dressing room. Yeah.
So the Burton was always great.
Correct. Oh, amazing.
Right. Okay. So
Amazing.
we've heard different stories, but listen, this show is not about Burton tonight. This show is about high school fights, and we're very honored once again to be sponsored by One Way Foods and Deli. Very excited to be with us again here. 1749 11th Avenue Southwest in the heart of Sonelta in Calgary. Go by there. Hard-boiled eggs, sardines, pop,
Whitefish, sable, pollock.
We're gonna have to pay him money now that we're.
But they got everything there. They got the condoms. If you're into the condoms, they sell everything there. That store is loaded with every item you're gonna need. Ciggies, they're not afraid to sell cigarettes. They still sell the ciggies.
This looks like an SCTV ad, like that picture right there. But it's
Look at the chairs.
Look at those chairs.
A
little bit worn.
They've renovated. Go and check them out as soon as you can. So, high school fights is this week's topic. Does anybody want to start, or am I just jumping in here?
You go ahead. You go ahead, man. You go ahead.
You're a wrestler, so you fight. You
have real fights. Yeah,
I wasn't a wrestler in high school, but thank you for the optimistic thoughts. I had a couple, brouhahas in high school, but I'm jumping right out, which is probably a little bit post high school, 22 years old or so, which is still you're pretty much a baby. This is the tale of the Oktoberfest Beatdown, and so we would go to Oktoberfest every year, which of course is just a German drunk fest. We call it Bierstein Rock. Like Halloween is Bierstein Rock. They fly free, drink your beer. And so we go to the Oktoberfest, and the polka band is playing. And this is me and Rybo. Jeff was there. Red Cup Jeff was there.
I was pre-cup.
He was pre-cup. Yeah, this is just when he was just. Yeah,
he's trying to find himself. He was trying to find himself at the time.
Foreplay, Jeff.
Jeff first met me. He thought my wrestling name was Chris Jenko.
What?
And that's not a joke. What did you think of Chris Jenko? And be brief. He said, "I can't remember and I can't be brief." So
Yeah. That's another episode.
So Jeff thought that my name was Chris Jenko, and because we were friends post high school, Chris Jenko right there. Look down, Dave.
Nice.
I see it. No, I see the Jenko. Yeah.
So we go to Oktoberfest, and my rule is when you go to a party, you never fucking sit down. When you sit down, you're out. And all the snotty people, and we know who they are. I'm talking about Dave.
Yeah.
You just sit down, and then the party's over. If you're not up and hanging out and being a part of the action, then if you're not in, then you're out. And if you're not in, you must be out. And so Rybo and I were up and hanging out, and we see this polka band. And they're playing cabbage rolls and coffee. Good, Yosh.
Oh, yeah.
I had a refrigerator repairman come over today that sounded just like Stan Schmengi, by the way, which was amazing.
Awesome. Beautiful.
So we go to watch the polka up close, and they start playing Taking Care of Business. Right, Rybo?
Taking Care of Business, man. BTO. Winnipeggers.
Right. Winnipeggers. We're not talking about us. And they start playing Take a Breath. And I'm like, I'm going to go like sing with this band. And Rybo's like, I would like to think that he's saying, no, don't do it. But of course he's going, yeah, do it. Like, whatever. We don't care. And so I go on stage, and I'm on stage, and I'm just rocking. And I have planted my feet to where I know that nobody is going to push me off the stage. And I'm like, Rybo, come on. He's like, what are we gonna? I'm like, no one's going to push us off the stage. We are going to be rocking, and we're going to sing Taking Care of Business. And we went into Satisfaction as well, which is great. So we're like, we're ready. Like, we're not going to let down. We're not going to let this, stop this. The Stan Schmengi right there. So they kind of look like that.
The guy did look like Stan Schmengi, and he was very short. I remember he was like I was standing here, he was playing guitar, and he was about this short, and we were on either side of him, and he looked real short, and he looked like Stan Schmengi.
And they were like, taking care of business, taking care of business, and we're just like taking care of business, and I'm just fucking planted, and Rybo's planted. They're kind of like moving. You can't move me, whatever.
Like perfect.
Ryan's moving a kilometer each way, but
and Jeff is with us too. It's me, Rybo, and Jeff. And so finally, we see the security guards approaching us, and now we're like, okay, the yig is up. Let's just walk off the stage, and no problems, no issues. We walk off the stage, and the security guard is there, and pulls out a can of mace.
Okay, wait a minute. I gotta. What do you have, mace there? I gotta interject. Yeah. We didn't walk off the stage.
Yeah,
we did not walk off the stage. I jumped off the stage. You stayed on the stage. I don't know if Jeff was still on the stage, but you kept going. You kept going for a while. I saw these cops pool in the front, and I said, okay, I'm just going to jump down. Okay, it's over, whatever. You stayed, and you kept going.
Okay, well, there's security guards at that point.
Event security.
It was not the cops at that point. Okay. So in my mind, you might have jumped off the stage, and Jeff never came on the stage. He was just there as a happy wanderer. And I eventually saw that the yig was up and walked off the stage. When I walked off the stage, the mace came out. And in my recollection, they sprayed me and you, Rybo, with the mace, and the aftermath hit innocent Jeff.
No.
Okay, what's your recollection?
You came down, and they were. Didn't you have a cast on at the time?
Yes, I'd broken my arm.
Yes.
Forearm.
Yeah. Well, they grabbed you, and they were basing, and then I said, "Hey," and I did one of these because I thought it was good because I was also on mushrooms. So I grabbed them. The guy like in my mouth and my eyes. My face was redder than it is now. So, as you can imagine, how bad that was.
Red face, Jeff.
Yes, I was red face.
Yeah. So you're saying that you got sprayed with the mace and that hit? I got the residual.
Yeah, because
the residual spray.
Rybo's the rubber match guy. So what actually happened, Rybo?
I barely got any of it. You got a little bit of it, Chris, but Jeff got fucking maced. He was the guy that got maced. He was in the eye. I remember he was washing his eyes and mouth for hours after. We're just like at the water fountain trying to just clean it off.
They apologized after. Like, sorry, we overreacted and this and that. They take me to a water fountain. Like, there's like a sprinkle, and I'm like, can't get my face wet enough. I was like, Chris was driving that night.
No, how was I driving? I couldn't see shit either.
Well,
by the way, you broke your arm by driving.
Yeah. No, but the story was, okay, so whoever originally got maced, which was Jeff, sorry, Jeff, the rest of us got
Chris Jenko.
The rest of us all ate the residual effect. So I remember all three of us were sitting on the curb after we got kicked out of Oktoberfest for committing the grand larceny offense of singing with the band.
Yeah.
Interrupting a polka band.
Oh, and I remember we were
Polka.
remember the actual Winnipeg cops showed up and they were like, "What's wrong with you guys?" And we're like, I was like, "Dude, we got maced for what? For obstructing a polka." The cop was like, I'm just gonna leave you guys to it. But it took forever.
Yeah. So it was
Murder scene. Goodbye.
And I had my face hanging out the window like a dog, trying to cool it from the.
It was bad. Hey guys at home, all Winnipeggers fans, don't ever get maced. That's my advice to you and Rybos and Red Cup Geoffs.
Yeah.
So Dave, you never got any fights in high school, did you?
I got in fights, man. Come on, give me a break. You know, I didn't have to get into fights. I had a big mouth, I had a big bark. But I got into fights, and my first fight was probably in the beginning of high school, probably grade 9 or grade 10. Roy Apperly was bugging me. I ran at him. I punched him right in the face really hard. He went down, and then I ran. And I've been running since. I don't give a shit. Who gives a shit? I'm a runner. I'm not a fighter or a lover. I'm a runner. But no, that literally was my very first fight. My second fight was at a wedding social for a girl, and it was her wedding, you know.
Any good?
Well, Eric Huntley's sister. Yeah, one of the Huntleys. One of the twin sisters.
Erica Huntley was her name, I think.
Dominique, I think. Or Dom or something.
I think Conrada.
I can't remember.
Conrada Huntley?
It doesn't matter. I was at a wedding, and anyway, Bagaki and Kerry Stevenson were mouthing off with some other guys, and these guys came at them, and there was punches, you know, throwing, and I just went to somebody hit Bagaki, and he hit, and I went, "Hey man, just take it easy." And the guy swung at me and hit me in the ear, and I went nuts. And I don't want to get into details because that's not what Winnipeggers about. We're about love and peace and love. But I beat the living shit out of this motherfucker. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous. And then and then I thought I better get out of here because he had way more friends than I did that night. I was like some, you know, stranger in a strange land type scenario. So I got out and I was waiting in Lon Wilby's 1977 Chrysler Cordova. Okay, canary yellow Cordova. And I'm in the back and I'm like just lying there kind of like going, holy crap, like a big fight, you know. And I definitely won that fight. And then I see these guys coming out and the shadows of guys going, where is he? And the whole bunch of them, and they're looking for me. And I'm now like under the steering wheel, you know, just seeing their shadows walk by the car. Because once again, I win a fight. I'm a strong guy, and then I run, you know, so I'm hiding in this scenario. I'm hiding. So I'm down there and I'm watching, and there was another friend, Kerry Stevenson, who at the time looked similar to me. We both had a perm, long hair with a perm, and leather jackets from Army surplus, you know, the biker jackets, and these guys are like, there he is, and I'm now watching my friend Kerry take on like 4 guys. It was 4 guys. He's taking them on. I don't even come out of the car to help him. I'm like, I had this one big fight, and I'm just gonna sit here under the steering wheel. This is where it's the safest. There was a Canadian Tire stereo that Lon and I had worked on. I was familiar with the underground of the car, Spark-O-Matic. So I'm, and then I peek up, and Kerry, literally, he was a good fighter. So he beat up the 4 guys. They were big guys. So it worked out anyway. So I didn't have to do anything. I'm not a wimp or anything. There's a Cordova. Beautiful. Nice pull up.
That's the actual Cordova you were hanging out in.
Well,
it's a Cordova with a B, I think, not a V.
It was the guy from Fantasy Island that would do the commercials for the Cordova.
Multibomb.
Yeah.
I'm going as you're going Multibomb.
Yeah.
Multibomb was the big guy.
I remember the commercials like, boss, the Cordova.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I don't think Tattoo did the commercials for it. That's brilliant. If he did, it's like, oh, look at the sky, Cordova. Or whatever his thing was. It was like some plane would be coming in. They always gave me who the hell went to that island, by the way? It's like life or death, drama up your ass, ghosts, weird shit. Like, I'm not going to Fantasy Island. There's nothing good about that place.
Every single fantasy I've ever had has not Tattoo. Hervé Villachez has never been in any one of those. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Ryan and I were involved in a fight night. Rybo and I were involved in a fight
What are you
night.
talking
Yeah.
about? Explain.
Well, I will. We were at the Monterey Social Hall, and it was one of the jet ski socials, the big ones. And I think the Drew Badger was fighting. And I said to Ryan, I go, we got to go see Drew fight, you know, because it was a good fighter. So
and his brother Jay were like the two toughest guys in our area.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, for
Don't
sure.
fuck with those
Yeah,
guys.
they were super tough
Did
guys.
not want to fight either one of
I think
them.
it was Kurt or Kirk Badger, and it was Jay McCullough. Those three were the tough guys in the area.
They're all
So-
fucking on nuts anyway.
I don't know, man. I don't know anything about them, but I go down to the ditch to go see this, you know, this Jay McCullough guy. I like a fight. This is the entertainment back then. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have anything. So we go down there, and Ryan's with me, and I stepped on a 2x4 and it had a rusty nail and it went into my foot. And I was like, oh my God, man. And Ryan's like, well, you got to get a tetanus shot or whatever. And you were like kind of adamant about it. And I was like, well, okay, I better go. Let's go. And then I started panicking. So I get into the hospital, and this Monterey Social Hall was notorious for fights. Like people fought all night to go to the ditch and fight. Like it was crazy. It was like farm boys fighting city boys, like everything like that. It was like Porky's. And Porky's without the glory hole. Porky's with and without the glory hole, whatever side you're on of the building. But I mean, good Lord, those were two. But it was, I went to the hospital with Ryan, and Ryan, that's a heroic moment actually from the episode prior. We did an episode about heroic moments. Ryan took me to the hospital, to the Grace Hospital, and I pushed my way through guys that had half a face that were really beaten up from the Monterey Social Hall. I said, I stepped on a nail. My foot's bleeding. I need a tetanus shot. And I got one, and I got out of there, and they put me in front of everybody because I wasn't a guy that looked like a fighter. They said, look at these thugs that are in here fighting and drinking. And Ryan and I, Ryan has a sweet smile, smiling sweetly. He got me right VIP at the Grace Hospital, and they gave me the tetanus shot. I went home. I was asleep by 1:30 in the morning, and I had nothing. I would look at this. I'm still good.
What did Rybo have to do with you getting in so quickly? Did he sweetly smile and get you in, or what?
Well, there's a little bit of charm there when you don't come in with half a face like some fighter. You come in hopping around on one foot with a good-looking boy like Ryan.
Were you wearing a Sun Ice jacket at the time?
Yeah, I was. I had my Steve Podorsky Sun Ice professional ski jacket on, pullover, white with neon green.
If you need rush service, you ask for me. I'll get you in early at the hospital. They all know me there.
Rybo's a cleaner. Rybo's like the Winston Wolf of Winnipeg and the Kenny Aronoff of Winnipeg. That's the whole other story.
There we go. Great.
Rybo, have you ever been in any fights or any type of fight ski at all that you can recall?
Well, I'm a lover more than a fighter, of course, but I've been involved in a couple fights. I'll tell you one that's it wasn't in high school. There's a few different ones, but I'll tell you one that happened after high school, and that I went to see the Suicide Girls perform, which is a burlesque group. I don't know if anybody knows who they are.
I know them well. We're
Yeah,
right there, but we'll take him down. We'll find some Suicide Girls. Continue. Great group of ladies.
You might know them personally. Very, very entertaining, to say the least. But I went there. I ended up going there with I think 5 or 6 of my female friends. No guys. I was like the male chaperone of like.
I called. I left messages on the machine. I heard nothing.
Yeah, I wasn't calling Dave back. I'm like, do I want another guy there? Fuck that.
2 words: cock block.
I probably cock blocked. You know what? I'm thinking about it because, like, why did no other guys show up there? Like, there must have been some invites, or I just said, no, don't worry about it.
You were, totally. When you had a chance of hashtag,
did not call anybody.
I got this. My lesbian club group. I'm part of a lesbian club, and I get them all coming there.
I'm the savior.
Yeah, no, you saved one of them, but the rest of them, there still would have been a club anyway, but she would have come along. But anyway, there's about 6 of us that went out, and we went to see these the Suicide Girls perform, and at this one guy was just a dick. We're just drinking, and and this one guy just was constantly trying to be a dick. And this was at the D machine, or I should just say D machine, because you shouldn't say the machine, because D is
Right.
in German is the, so you can't say the machine. It's just D machine. Anyway, so we were there. Which
We're okay for time. Just tell the story. I'm just
are
kidding.
you okay for time? So anyway, this guy was like a total dick, and at one point we were watching the show, and my friend Dominique was standing next to me, and this guy says, "I can't see anything because this fucking dyke's in front of my way. It's right in my way." And I look back at him, and he looks at me, and he goes, and then he looks at his friend. He goes, points at me as I'm looking at him. He goes, "This guy right here is the biggest fucking cocksucker I've ever seen in my life."
Whoa.
And I go, "Okay, buddy, whatever, dude." So I look away again, no problem. And he's just like, making issues. And I talked to the bartender.
And
he
what a
was
thing
like,
to call you, by the way, like cocksucker.
Yeah, it's bad.
Jesus.
It's pretty bad.
It's
It's pretty
how
bad.
do you even take that?
No.
You could take that a lot of ways. You could be like, well, thanks.
Yeah. How do you know?
I mean,
Let's see it. Drop your drawers.
Resumes here.
Drop your
So continue.
drawers.
So anyway, so after that, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Not a big deal. I'm not going to get into big fight about it. And then at a certain point, he's standing next to my wife, Tanis, who was, had a few drinks, and she's feeling good. And he was just kind of getting in there with them and kind of like being like just kind of creepy and stuff, and sort of hanging around with all these girls. And I'm standing a little bit back, and I'm just kind of like watching this whole thing happen. And this guy, by the way, it's covered in tattoos himself. He's got one of these nose rings. He's got a nose ring that goes from here into his lip, and then to his ear, like this whole thing that's going, it's all attached. It's one chain.
Yeah.
And he, at one point, my wife is dancing, and she just kind of pushes back at him like that. And he goes like this and grabs her by the neck.
Whoa,
By
man.
the neck. And I'm about like 3 people back, and I just kind of jump out and I grab his chain and I fucking pulled at his face, basically, because it's all attached.
Oh,
Pull that shit out, pull him away from the whole scenario.
you pulled
And
off the
also-
side of his face?
Pretty much. I grabbed that chain that was attached to his whole face, and his whole face gets pulled
This is
over.
the last episode of Winnipeggers, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to be spending a little time in therapy.
There's like a statute on limitations, right? Like, this is like, 15
it's
years
like a
ago.
week. Oh, wow. Still,
Yeah,
well,
it's
good
more-
for you. I mean, he's an asshole, but that's
He
crazy.
was a total asshole. And then anyway, we had words after, and he wanted to fucking beat the shit out of me. And he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." He's like, who the fuck was that? I'm like, "Oh, that was my wife." "That's your fucking wife? That's your wife? I'll fucking kill you." And we were like face to face, and we didn't really throw any blows, but I kind of looked at him, and he looked like there was good in his eyes. I was like total Luke Skywalker looking into like, sorry for the Star Wars references, but I could look at him and I could see.
I don't
had
understand.
He had some good in him. There was something about him that didn't seem like he was acting like he should have acted. Anyway, fight gets kind of broken up. He gets thrown out. I'm talking to the bouncer, and the bouncer knows him and said, he's not normally like this. He's a really nice guy. He's a tattoo artist. He's a famous tattoo artist in Osborne Village, and he's gotten to crack lately. He's been like doing like drugs and shit like that, and he's not the same guy that he used to be. But he's waiting for me outside the front, and he wants to beat the shit out of me when I come out with my like 6 girlfriends here, and he's gonna like kick my ass. And he was sitting at the Toad. He was sitting at the Toad throwing beer bottles onto Osborne Street and stuff like that.
He's
smashing
going
beer
through some
bottles.
shit. God bless him.
He was going through a bunch of shit. Anyway, we snuck out the back door. I found out the next day he died.
Oh,
Overdose.
my goodness.
He was dead.
From
So
what?
that was one of the only fights I've ever been into. He overdosed on like crack. He was doing crack for the last like week and a half. He was on crack for like 2 days straight, 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah, I know.
Let me ask you a question, Rybo. Are you a
Yeah.
warlock?
I'm not a I look like a warlock.
No, you already said yep. You said yep when I said you're a warlock. You look
Okay.
kind of like a warlock. But you
I look like a I look like a warlock, and Tommy Shaw had a baby. Anyway, yeah. So the good thing about that is that I've only been into like really one real fight, and I can say,
Wow. Yeah, you
I
guys
should
are looking
say-
pretty close.
My
You
name's
should
Rybo. I'm a warlock.
Yeah. I killed someone.
you should see the other guy.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
he's
gonna-
dead. He died after your confrontation.
He died.
I don't know about this
Died.
story. I thought that'd be a story. You punch somebody guy in the face, you run away. Yeah, you become a person of love. You took a life.
Yeah,
You got in a fight, and somehow things ended weird that
That's
same
right.
night. Wow.
Speedy sounds more and more like fucking Bubbles from.
I don't know what the heck is going on here.
All right, here's the final story of the night. I go to Calgary with the Palco brothers, Brad and Tyler. Great guys. Moved to Okotoks, Calgary, trained to wrestle. Their family took me in. All great stuff. In the summer of 91, we go to a bush party. We're all familiar with bush parties. We used to do them all the time. In Okotoks, all there was to do was a bush party. So
lots of bush.
we go to the bush party. And this is with old school Ajax, Lenny Olson, all the brothers are there. And I'm fucking torched. Whatever I was drinking at the time, probably more shit mix. Call back, and I love ski. And something happens with Lenny and Ajax's little brother Lonnie, where he gets punched in the face. And I'm like, that ain't happening on my
Oh,
watch.
no.
I'm like,
Ajax got punched in the face.
Lonnie.
Ajax, follow along.
Lonnie, even worse.
Lonnie.
The Lonnie's the
Lonnie.
baby.
The
Wow.
baby, the baby, the nicest guy in the world. So I'm like, who the fuck punched my
Yeah,
friend?
it
And
totally
some guy with a cowboy hat is, he was like, I did. I'm like, really? Why don't you go fuck your ass and shut up, Tex? And as I'm saying this to Tex with this cowboy hat, somebody punched me in the side of the head. And it's like Pantera, Voters by Power. And I'm down with the clown, man. I'm out. And these motherfuckers with their studded cowboy boots proceed to kick the shit out of me. I remember covering my head like this and thinking, these guys are going to kill me. Like, I'm dead at 21, only son, but it's as well. Bred to kill, not to care. You know the words. And I was fucking getting the shit kicked out of me like a fucking loser. And finally, they leave me alone. I get up.
Loser. I remember this story. This came back to Winnipeg.
I was at the time was like, this was like 91. So, you know, like not glam metal, but it was still about, you know, friendship bracelets and, you know, chains and earrings, all of it gone. Chains gone. Pulled off. And I get up and my head is like Rocky Dennis from The Mask. It's like this big. What? And I look, and there's one guy laughing. I'm like, hey, oh, really? You think it's funny? And I beat the shit of this poor innocent bystander.
Oh, yeah. You always have to beat the shit out of somebody lesser than you after you get the shit kicked out of you.
No, like some nerdy guy. He can't ingest protein properly, so he's really skinny, whatever it is. So then I go back to my house, and this is what my friend, I know what it was. My friend Brad Palco got punched, and Lonnie got punched, and so we're back at the Palco's place. It's like the Outsiders after the fight. We're all like touching the rubbing alcohol to our fists and like ice on our face, and I'm like, I couldn't even eat. I was like, not working, nothing. My face was fucked. And there's a band called Mind Funk. Do you remember this, Rybo?
Yes.
A band called Mind Funk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had just bought the Mind Funk album, and I was listening to it. I could barely even go like press play.
Nice.
So fine, I got the shit kicked out of me, all said and good. So I end up going about a few months later to the place where I lived when I was just starting wrestling in Okotoks, Alberta. It was called the Willingdon. And it was a place, it was a kind of a shithole, kind of a local public, kind of going to Yorgies or something along those lines. And I went into to Yorgies. And what had happened was I was beat up by the Galan brothers. And the Galan brothers was the Okotoks equivalent of who? Who's the guys, not the McCulley brothers, the other guys?
Drew Badger.
The Badgers, yeah.
Blair Arthur,
Badgers,
maybe
yeah.
those guys. Yeah.
The
Fucking
Badgers.
Badgers. And,
Fucking
yes,
Badgers.
And so these dudes.
I was
kick
always
the
nice to those guys. How's it going? How's it going?
How's it going? How's it going, eh? So when I
Good idea.
told Ajax, those guys that I got beat up by a couple, I remember I said, "Hey, Tex, go fuck your ass." And I flicked his hat off. And like, who's the guy that wore the cowboy hat at the place? And his name was Juan Galan. And this is the that's I used to live there, right there, the Wellington. And Juan Galan and his brother, fucking Jorge, or whatever his name was, were the toughest guys in Okotoks. I got the shit kicked out, whatever. 4 or 5 months later, I go into the Willie, the place I just showed you, to have a drink, as you do in a small town. And who's sitting at the counter but Juan Galan with a fucking cowboy hat on? And I'm like, oh, shit. And he goes, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, dude. Like, whatever. Like, fuck. What are you doing? He's like, you want to have a drink? I'm like, okay. He goes, you put up a good fight that night. My brother and I, we kind of double teamed. It wasn't fair, but you deserved it. But you know what?
You
You're a good
deserved
guy.
it.
You
You deserved a sucker punch.
But here's the best part about Canadians. I'm like, cool, let's have a drink. And Canadians,
Yeah.
every time you're in a fight, you always shake hands afterwards and have a drink. And that's, he killed me. But I'm not going to take out a gun or a knife or poison them.
Right.
Broken glass.
No. Poison. That's
You
high
could-
tech. No, I'm gonna hide I'm gonna hide in a car. I'm gonna run away and hide in cars. But I'm not doing anything extra.
Good call.
But you know what? That's the epitome of a Canadian fight. And anybody watching this show, and there's 10,000 of you every week. We've got 65,000 viewers in 10 shows, 8 shows, whatever it is, 8 shows.
Plus Jeff.
Canadians. Well, thank you. This is ratings right here. Between Jeff and the Suicide Girls, we're going through the roof. Hey, Rybo, we're going to the toppermost of the poppermost, baby.
Uppermost of the poppermost, baby.
I got,
So-
And hey,
I got beat up at a Brighton Rock show. So
Well,
that doesn't for Jerry McGee a couple weeks ago.
he just passed away. God bless Jerry McGee.
R.I.P.
by the way, everyone should get beaten up for going to a Brighton Rock show. And that's another thing. That's another thing. You say all of us Canadians, we're going to shake your hands. That might happen with these
No.
guys. Dave's going to hide in a car and maybe Chris will shake your hands after. But if you fuck with me, you end up
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah,
Dead,
that's right.
baby.
Exactly.
D-E, dead.
Yeah. When you come through after I punched you out, you'll see my fucking ass running. No life. Chris,
Dead.
you break a beer, you have a beer with him. A nice time after you beat the shit out of each other.
The best is
Hey,
I
listen,
ran too, but he still died. But whatever.
Well,
So
I
bad.
ran. Guys, listen, what a great show. High school fights. We got about 18 other shows that came up because of all these shows. And
Yeah.
I think that's something great going on here. The Winnipeggers is going to be a huge hit for many people. Hopefully, some of them us.
For many people, maybe not us, but for a lot of people, it might be a hit.
Guys, what a great time. Doing this
Time.
very early in the morning, but great times. And don't forget, guys, if you're in the Calgary area, visit One Way Foods in Delhi. Go see Tyler Thompson, proprietor. Hard-boiled eggs, salmon, pop,
Lock, herring.
snacks.
Don't jump on stage at a polka.
I just want fucking Red Cup to be actually in the shot.
Whitefish.
Oh, dude, you guys don't believe this. I just got a text from Dean Mullen.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna read this live. Dean Mullen. Oh, he sent me a picture of Metallica. Disposable Heroes. Is it live? Are we live right now?
Oh my
I'm
God, we are live.
I want you to read this. Phrases. He said 21 Only Son Classic. 21 Only Somebody Service Classic. I just
Well, what are
said
you
that.
talking about?
No. Are we live? How do you know?
That would be so hilarious if we went
Funny.
live by mistake, but I don't think we are. I really
It does
don't.
say live up in the corner, but I figured
It does, but I think it always does, doesn't it?
Dude,
Oh, whatever.
I might have made a mistake and put this on live.
Oh, great. Sorry, Glenn.
Sorry, everybody.
I might have just ended
No.
with Hayes. We're ready to go out with Red Cup Geoff, Juan Galan, Dean Mullen, freaking anything that Rybo said.
Tattoo Jay.
Go jump on stage.
And look at the chairs at one way.
I'm the worst. Why did I suddenly get the job of being the freaking production guy on this?
Oh, exactly. We need to hire somebody sober for the three of us to run this thing.
I know this isn't live because I just want to comment. There's nobody there. So hold on.
Put Ed Aborn in there.
No, Ed, Dean just said, of course I know that you grew up on that. Hold on. I'm going to say, are we live? if you just came up with this from nothing, Bible, you are a warlock.
Bibo.
I just noticed you put toppermost of the pop piermost.
Oh, he's a stickler.
Hey, listen, if I only nailed that $1,000 each deal the other day, we could have bought a fucking administrator.
Okay, so he says we're live.